Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Binding of Isaac Repentance, where today I'm going to play Greed mode with one or two characters. Even though I have Greedier unlocked, I'm actually going to stick with Greed mode for a little bit just to get those unlocks for the donation machine, because the nice thing about having done that is that when I do end up playing Greedier mode, I don't have to worry about it, and that is pretty great. Can I get hit by these? No, these don't actually even deal damage. Huh, fair enough. But yeah, I'd like to at least get some of the unlocks for the Greed mode, even though Greedier does give you a second unlock for each character. And that's 3 bombs, which is pretty great. And golden poop, sure. But yeah, it's just nice to get that donation machine out of the way, because Greedier mode is just quite a bit more difficult, I'd say, and it is just so much more convenient when you don't have to worry about taking coins into the Ultra Greed fight. Yeah, I don't wanna. Instead, we are just going to play as Samson. We can get a key immediately, which is lovely. We get the Gnawed Leaf, which doesn't really... it's not likely to help us. It could make us basically guaranteed to win the fight against Ultra Greed if we get something like anything that would basically deal damage while we stand still, because that is the power of the Gnawed Leaf. There's a couple ways in which Greedier mode is more difficult as well. Like, one is, I believe you get less coins, there's one more wave that you have to fight, and also the time between waves is just a little bit more difficult. I don't want to worry about any of that just yet. I just want to have a nice old time trying to get my unlocks and getting through my days. So that is exactly what we're going to be focusing on today. And Samson is a pretty decent character to do this with as well, simply because that bloody lust, what's the one called? The blood thing, rage, the thing that makes him deal more damage when he takes damage. That's just a very useful thing to have. Especially when you manage to get a piece of meat in your item room, because it means you can immediately heal up the damage you take from entering your curse room, and the first floor will become a little bit more easy because of it. So, all in all, pretty good. We are getting a pretty busy wave right now, but overall that's not too impossible. We have reached the last wave before the boss wave, so nothing more will spawn until we actually destroy the remaining enemies. Taking a little bit of extra damage here, but ultimately it only makes us stronger, so I'd say definitely worthwhile. Hopefully we can heal that back up on the next floor with our item, whatever item we may get. I'm not sure if I should be going for Devil Deals or Angel Rooms just yet. My health is alright, it's okay. The fact that we got an extra red heart container immediately is pretty promising. I got stuck on a rock there, but fortunately managed to correct it just in time. And the first boss is already dead, the second boss being Haunt. I believe this is the champion that spawns spiders rather than use a brimstone attack, so that is pretty nice. Not sure if this one can shoot tears though, but we're gonna find out today. He can shoot tears, so that's good to know, but there is a couple rocks here which should hopefully protect us from that. But yeah, his brimstone attack has been replaced by the spawning of spiders, which fortunately we can destroy in one hit. His tear attack also isn't as effective in this mode, simply because you can just run backwards if you have a character that's reasonably swift, and the tears will not actually reach you. Plus you create some extra room to dodge in as well when you do that. That was an unfortunate hit, but I mean, it is Pin. It is Champion Pin, who shoots a bunch of tears when he jumps around, but also has just a bunch more tear-based attacks, I suppose. And you briefly saw the effect of the Gnawed Leaf there. When I stood still, I suddenly looked slightly different. It's kind of hard to tell as Samson, actually. Simply because when I stand still like that, I still look pretty much identical. The Dead Cat is tempting, simply because there is, of course, a chance of getting more Guppy pieces and becoming Guppy, but simultaneously, I don't know. I don't love it when I already have 4 red heart containers, so I think I'm just going to skip it for now. There's nothing here that I really want, so I think I'm just going to take this onwards to the next floor. I could look for a secret room, but alternatively I could also just keep these bombs for when I see a shopkeeper with coins in his eyes, which is definitely a possible thing to happen in this mode, so I think I will just leave it like that. That is the red heart, which is going to heal me up entirely and give us another red heart container, so in terms of health, we're pretty much good to go. Provided that I can survive this floor. In terms of damage, we're not quite there yet, but there is part of the Spun transformation is growth hormones, which gives us some extra damage as well. And that shopkeeper gave us 5 coins, so that's pretty good. There is a golden chest there as well, which I'm tempted by. But I might see if we can get flight or something first. And that is pretty good. It's part of the conjoined transformation. It's going to spawn flies that are more or less just going to kill an enemy every time anytime that fly hits something, so that is pretty good. So far the waves we're getting are just 4 spiders every time, so if we can just keep that up as well, that would be lovely. Then the bomb wave, which is effectively a free wave, but you do have to be somewhat careful of the various bombs all around you, I suppose. Fortunately, that champion died before the next wave spawned, so that's good as well. They were pretty much all at the top side of the room, so not much worry there. And so far, in terms of money, we're doing pretty good, but again, I would like to see some more items. Again, taking damage isn't really that big of a deal either. It also is going to increase the damage of our flies, I do believe, for at least this floor, so that's kind of nice. And provided that I don't actually die, then I'm entirely okay with that. I might actually visit my my curse room after this wave right here to see if perhaps there is something interesting in there, and after that I can pick up the heart to get all my health back again. There is a golden chest in here, which I might go for actually. Sure, why not? Let's do that. Feeling pretty safe in here, and we ended up pretty much just getting our health back and our key back as well, so not too terrible. I might just clear the boss wave first, actually. Hopefully not going to lose 2 hearts in these fights, but I assume things are going to be more or less okay. The first wave already being over, and the second wave being this boss again, where I now have more damage than I previously did. So all in all, not too concerning. I will actually take the heart now, I think, because if it is another devil deal, then at least I'll have a few more heart containers to play with. We're not going to get the dead cat again, I don't think, since we already saw it. So I'd say it's fairly unlikely that that's going to show up again in a devil deal if we do get a devil deal. It's a 50% chance either way, but I'd prefer to play it like this. But maybe there's going to be some more parts of the conjoined transformation, or an angel room, or something like. Yeah, there we go. So we can pick a shield or a little bit of extra damage. If we get the Book of Belial, it is a pretty damn good item as well, so I will take that. Not going to find the angel because there is no point right now. I do not have the trinket that allows me to do the thing to get items from angels that are not keys. Tempted by the buddy in the box simply because it's part of the conjoined transformation, and I'd like to just get that as well. Mr. Me is tempting as well, actually, because it's an active item. I don't have an active item yet, and it can occasionally give us good things. Now, a smart person would probably go for the black candle there with the Mr. Me. I'm gonna go for the golden chest instead. And there is a bomb in there, so I might as well just blow it up like this. I was kind of hoping there would be a secret room there, but I think it's actually impossible because I think it has to be a super secret room. But yeah, this gives you immunity to curses, which is really the main thing, but I'm not really too concerned about curses in regular greed mode, simply because it's not technically the harder difficulty where you would get a higher chance of curses, so I've rarely seen curses in greed mode, so I'm just not gonna bother with it. That might end up biting me in the butt, of course, but hopefully it won't. That's gonna be the strategy. At least not in this floor, so that's good. That is going to give us a range up, which not great, but it is what it is. Another health up, so Once again, health is definitely not going to be a problem during this run. And I don't think I want to bomb that. I could look for my secret room here because there's just not that many places where it could be. But simultaneously, it can also be next to the exit, and I have only 4 bombs. So, and once again, I think I'd rather just go for the shopkeepers with coins in their eyes. We have a buddy that is shooting Loki's, not Loki's, what's it? Lil Horn Tears? Which is wild. It's pretty effective from the look of things, so I can appreciate that. I think I might try and steal a bit with Mr. Me. I might wait with for the devil deal actually before I start stealing things. Because if I could steal from my devil deal, that would actually be pretty amazing. It's only a 50% chance, I do believe, but still, it's not bad. Wave 8 is done already. It is a 4 charge, and we're only gonna see 3 more things, unfortunately. I could try for supper, actually, because that is also tempting. But let's just first see what is gonna happen here. It's a shame that Buddy in a Box on the next floor isn't going to be the, this baby, probably, because this baby is actually pretty incredible. I didn't know this baby even existed. But it's causing a lot of hands to come out of the floor and deal a pretty decent amount of damage, so that is rather nice. And for the double deal, we have to fight a couple of horses. One at the top and one at the bottom as well. Not really too bothered by these particular ones, but yeah, those hands just did so much damage there. So purity, again, is pretty good, but when you take damage, you will get a new aura. But I believe if you don't leave the room, you won't get the aura until you do. So I think I'll just go with the set damage. It's not really that much, but it's something, technically. And with that, I am... running fast enough will prevent contact damage is also pretty great, but I'm gonna try and steal this. There you go. It does remove that the item in the shop here, as you can see, but if we re-roll it, it does come back. That is pretty good, being able to buy some soul hearts for 3 coins a piece. So I might do a couple of these before I try and re-roll again. Not really too interested in that because we already have so many keys. That's chaos. And that's an item that's on sale. I think I'll just go with the item on sale. I'll take that as well. And I'll take the chance to get spun ultimately. It is a pretty pricey bunch. I know that chaos is more fun ultimately, but I think this is acceptable. We've still got a couple floors to go. We were only in the depths, I suppose. Weren't even halfway there yet, I guess. This will give me spun, so that's already tempting, and that is the Ludovico technique, which I'm not a huge fan of, so I'm not gonna bother this time. This though, it was a shot speed down and a luck down. Everything else went up. I think I got a red heart container as well. So all in all, that went about as good as it could have. There's the halo, which is fine. But I might just not buy anything on this floor. Our baby... I don't know if it was our baby that caused the enemy to just freeze and turn into coins, but it's a pretty good deal in this mode, so if that baby can do that more often, that would be lovely. If it is us that is doing that somehow, I'd also be okay with just doing that, because that's really good. Having ways to make more money is just a really useful thing in this mode, and I'd like to keep repeating it forever. Not loving these enemies spawning so much, but we do have Spectral Tears, so if they're hiding behind rocks, at least they won't be safe. Hopefully the flies will occasionally catch one as well, and occasionally you can also catch one while they're sort of weirdly still underground. You can still hit them with their forever staying hitboxes, so that is kind of good. Yeah, we are turning things into gold on occasion, but I'm not exactly sure why. I have to assume it's the baby with the 404 head right there. But yeah, unusual for sure. I don't mind it though. So far the buddy in a box has been paying out in a variety of ways, and they're all very, very good, so I can appreciate that. Turn the boss into gold, which is probably not gonna die just yet. Oh, that one died while it was gold. Don't think he dropped any money though, so that's a little unfortunate. Is that Monstro? Yeah, it is. Not a problem, but I guess I probably should have focused on Monstro first before dealing with the enemy that shoots bombs, because the bombs could have helped out in dealing just a little extra damage. Simultaneously, I could probably generate infinite money here by just having him spawn red flies and turning them into gold, but it's not really fun. And that is an important part of my strategizing, so unfortunately it was not to be. Gurdy, I don't mind too much. It's 2 of the champion Gurdies that spawn enemies exclusively as well, so hopefully that's just going to mean that we end up making a lot more money, but I am just going to focus them down to save myself some headache here. And to make it a little bit more interesting. But yeah, this baby, if we could just keep this baby for the rest of the run, that would obviously be pretty incredible. But there you go. There is a devil deal with 2 very, very good items in it. Sulfur is obviously great, and ceremonial robes is a damage up. Let's try to steal the more expensive one. And we did get the more expensive one, so that's pretty good. And I think with that, I might have used up that item for as much as I want, because sulfur is amazing. So that is good to get. With sulfur, I don't really need much more either. My damage is at this point pretty great. So I think I'm just gonna move on with what we have and just try to collect as much money as possible. If there's an item on sale, I'll probably go for it a little bit. But mostly I just want to be at 99 coins at the end. That will increase my tier size, which is not too bad either. Clicker. Which... Meh. Yeah. Just not that interested in it. Yeah. Let me just re-roll this a little bit. Something like this is pretty good. This might be really good against Ultra Greed as well. But let's see what we can get from this. There is the box, which might end up just giving us more stuff than we lose. Or not, of course. I think I might take the tick, actually. That's not too bad. It's gonna deal some decent damage to Ultra Greed. The Devil card is not bad either. I think I'll blow these up just in case. And... no, I'm gonna take that as well. It's mostly gonna be good against Ultra Greed, but that is still very acceptable. Let's use Sulfur right there. And destroy some ghosts. We are shooting in... oh, right, yeah, because we have the eye thing. The thing that makes us shoot multiple tiers sometimes. It's gonna make us shoot multiple tiers sometimes, so that's obviously pretty good. Having Sulfur against these things are also pretty great. Also, the double brimstone effect in multiple different directions is just a lovely sight to behold. So, all in all, not too disappointed by how things are going, except for the large quantity of damage I've been taking during this particular floor, but we're making it through. No worries there. I think that's probably the last use of the item as well for this floor, because I'd say my damage is good enough for now. I'd say this is pretty acceptable in terms of are we dealing enough damage. Plus with that Devil card, we're probably going to deal enough damage against Ultra Greed as well. I'm curious how the tick actually works in this mode, in the regular waves, because it is pretty good. Death's Touch is tempting, but it tears down is not really that great. It's fun though. Yeah, you know what? Let's go for fun mode. Also, this makes our regular tiers a lot of fun, so that is also pretty important. The next floor is going to be the shop, or the chest rather. So let's just keep moving on. Hopefully we can get a few more soul hearts without really having to spend much more money on it. That would be ideal, but unfortunately not the case. I can blow these up, so that's pretty good. Preferably, I don't really want to spend any more money, so I think I'm just going to try with my regular tiers just for fun, because I think these scythe tiers are more or less going to take care of business here. without me really having to worry about anything. Obviously, we have a small damage down because we are not using sulfur multiple times during this fight, but I'll end up using it again in the actual fight against Ultra Greed, so that will be neat. With the 4.5 volt battery, it will also mean that we can use it multiple times there, so that's pretty good. But yeah, I'd say this is, once again, a good enough build to make it to the end. The last wave here is pretty kind in that it didn't spawn sooner, because this would have been kind of a hassle to deal with, but simultaneously, they died pretty quickly. Let's get all of this. Yeah, probably not going to spend any more money if I can avoid it. Because I'd love to have 99 coins for the actual Ultra Greed fight. Mustn't get hit by these enemies though, or Ultra Greed himself, of course. And this fight, still not great at it, but because I thought he would go to the top left there, but he didn't. So maybe I should just stand still and wait for him to pop up and then move. Maybe that's the strat, because I'm not sure if he can actually stop inside of you if you're not moving. I need to play around with that a little bit. It's one of the bosses that I'm just not very familiar with. That was a decent amount of damage, but well, I only got hit once, I suppose, so it doesn't really matter too much. One more double deal. With Horror Babylon and 2 Spooky. 2 Spooky's pretty good for all the enemies that spawn there, plus against the coins as well, but it will cost 3 soul hearts, and I'd say that's not really worthwhile, so and we'll just leave that alone. I think I might just bomb this machine just in case it ends up having something good, but yeah, I'm not really too interested in any of this at this point. Obviously D6 at the start of the run would have been amazing. Cricket's body at the start of the run would have been pretty incredible as well. But as it stands, I'd rather have 96 coins because that can be good to donate. Plus with the 2 remaining bombs, hopefully we can raise that to 99 and then call it a day. Didn't get conjoined, but we have this very glowy baby instead that shoots some kind of homing shielded tears or something like that, so could be good. There's one more Ultra Greed to deal with. 25 coins, which seems about right. And there we go. Use the devil card. Use sulfur. He's already lost a little bit of health thanks to the tick there, so that's pretty good. And now we're just going to sit here and shoot for a bit. We are dropping coins somehow, which I'm not exactly sure why, but I'll take it. Might end up being useful for the actual donation machine, provided that we can actually donate beyond 99 coins. It's not guaranteed, of course, but it would be nice. Need to not take too much hits though, because he will steal my coins if we let that happen. But the 4.5 volt is increasing our damage by just a little bit every single time we use it. So that's pretty good as well. We are currently at 28 damage. Every time we take damage, we're gonna get a little bit more damage as well to start dealing, so that's pretty great, of course. And more or less we can just stay as far away from him as possible without really having a reason to come close. I mean, the flies specifically from the rotten baby, those might be kind of good to try and be close to him for, but that's about it really. Let's get rid of that one. Overall, it's gonna take a minute, but in a second we should be done with relative ease. And hopefully we can donate as much as possible to that donation machine there. Another 0.79 damage. I think the amount of damage we're getting is lowering every time as well, but not 100% sure. Yeah, it's lowering by a little bit each time. So it is getting less and less valuable to keep using it, but simultaneously it is still extra damage, and I don't mind it. And with that, we are done. So that's good. Let's just make that donation machine appear. We unlock Lusty Blood, which is the good unlock anyway. We're only at 618. I was kind of hoping we'd be at a little bit more already, but that's okay. It is what it is. We got the store key unlocked, so fair enough. We're at 700 coins. Let's blow up a couple more things here and there. 10 more coins to donate. Would be nice if it didn't break. And mostly I just want it to be at 879 coins. That's really the main amount I would like to have. because it is going to make journeys to the beast just a little bit safer when we are in that lost segment. So that is ultimately what I'm going for. We managed to put in all the coins that we could, so really we couldn't have asked for much more, and yeah, pretty great. Pretty good. I am going to do just one more run. We have a win streak of 30, but that also includes the regular greed modes. I could do Apollyon actually. I haven't actually done greed mode as Apollyon yet, and it is a pretty good character to do greed mode with, as you can turn items into good things. So far, not use my void on that Jesus juice because it will increase our damage. If we had a bomb, we could blow this up, which would be pretty good. Not too impressed by this so far, but let's see what we can get. The burning basement probably does have more difficult waves than the regular basement on this mode, but I'm genuinely not 100% sure. I am not very familiar with what wave is what in which floor, so I'll just see what I can get, and hopefully we'll just have a reasonably decent time with it. We had a good warm-up run with Samson there, so hopefully that warm-up will carry us. That is a surprisingly high amount of enemies actually for a wave, but we'll just have to make do. As long as we can destroy as many of them as possible, that would be good. Try to avoid the champions as much as possible, but this is getting a little worrying. If I don't get hit by the champions, then I'll still be alright, but it is getting pretty crowded up in here. We do not have the same bonuses as we did with Samson, where we end up with more damage. We'll just press that button just in case, because it is just getting a little bit too crowded here. Oh my god. Yep, there you go. That is the end of our win streak, believe it or not, at a perfect 30 as well, so that is just very unfortunate. I'm still just gonna try again with Apollyon, but that is, yeah, that's just really unfortunate. It got very crowded in there. It was a very unlucky start for sure. Which eventually did have to happen, but it is always sad to see it happen in front of you like this. So, unfortunately, we have finally lost a run after all that time. But you know, what are you gonna do about it? Lost pretty much all of my health by walking into spikes there, but fair enough, that is part of the conjoined transformation. And ultimately, it doesn't really matter too much to lose a run, of course. We've already done all the win streak based things, so in terms of unlocks, it is, you could technically call it a positive, simply because there are some unlocks tied to dying, I believe. Just like die 100 times for some item or another, so it is what it is, but it's still a shame, isn't it? I don't know, it's been going surprisingly well, obviously, as you very much could have seen from all the previous runs. So eventually one of these runs was gonna have to be a little bit more rough around the edges for sure, but it was just a little bit unfortunate that it had to happen like that, you know? I don't know how I would have liked it to happen. I would have liked it to not be in basement of greed mode. But well, I'm not too bothered. Instead, I will just do my best in the runs to come. And since it's in a greed mode run, it also means that might as well just keep going anyway. Already planned to do a couple runs during this video anyway, so yeah, there you go. At least there is somewhat of a positive that had happened early on, that I didn't waste like a lot of time on the run as well, but I don't know if that's it is arguably a positive, I would call it. Anyway, we could take the Spelunker hat just to see what is the next item that's going to be available. And also, for the sake of finding our secret room, perhaps. We don't currently have any bombs, but we might be able to buy one. There's a couple red hearts in this room as well. And if we can buy a bomb, then I am a little tempted to try and see what's in there, I suppose. But as it stands, I'm not really too interested in re-roll the enemies in the room, because even though it says it tries to re-roll them as enemies with similar HP, it usually just re-rolls them into harder enemies. I don't really want to deal with it all that much. But instead, let us just do our best to not die during the boss wave. Our damage is pretty bad. Not sure if I should have taken the multidimensional baby simply due to the chance of getting conjoined. I don't know if that's really worthwhile. But if I can get some use out of this multidimensional baby at the same time, it is going to deal a pretty decent amount of damage, but it is... you have to work around it so much, and I don't love in what kind of positions it puts me when I try to. Because I'm just really awkwardly trying to stand in one place the entire time, and as you can see, it's making me make some weird movement mistakes because of it. So let's just try not to die to this. It's also the fact that you're shooting 2 tiers at the same time that it ends up pushing them a little bit further than it ordinarily would. And that can lead to some silly mistakes as well. I'm a little tempted by Mom's Pearls, but that's simply just because my health is pretty bad again. And that's really not a reason to buy Mom's Pearls at all. This is a little concerning. My movement speed isn't amazing right now, which is worrying me a little bit. Kind of want to deal with the smaller ones first before dealing with the bigger ones as well, but ultimately we can only do so much. Need to make sure that I don't accidentally get trapped on rocks the entire fight. Didn't even notice that tier coming towards me, but it was definitely there. I realized it afterwards that's what happened, but this is a little bit rough, isn't it? To play with this little damage when compared to playing with Samson. I guess, yeah, probably should have put a little bit more thought into it. Probably should have actually just played as Eve instead, because I think just having that higher starting damage does make life a little bit easier, a little bit more bearable overall. But, what are you gonna do? As long as we can make it past the start, then we're probably gonna be okay. But we do have 2 red children chasing us right now at a pretty high speed. If we can get rid of that last big one, there we go. At that point, it just becomes a matter of running in circles and occasionally shooting a tier. No need to be in a rush here, just need to make sure you can keep it manageable. And you can do that by just trying to shoot them in specific directions, and if you don't shoot too frequently, at least you can kind of make sure they're not flying all over the place and make it suddenly really difficult to dodge. And there you go. We can get the knife, which is pretty great. We do have 2 empty red heart containers right now anyway, so I wouldn't mind just taking that and moving on. Don't really want the other item. And with that, I think I will just go to the next floor. With the knife, we shouldn't face any more troubles, except maybe in the Ultra Greed fight. Which I just considered might actually be kind of bad to have the knife in. But, you know, we'll see what happens ultimately. We have enough money to buy 1 more key. We lost a charge on our item there. Now I was kind of considering whether or not I should or shouldn't do that. The car battery is pretty great with this item as well. And I will actually just open this just in case. That's not bad. But car battery with void, if you have active items inside it, then that does become quite good. So that's tempting, but I do need to have actual active items in it. I mean, it's technically something. I mean, and that's what we're just gonna have to go for. As you can see, the knife is, well, it's a knife, isn't it? It is going to destroy the regular enemies on the floor and also do pretty decently against bosses as well. But this does make life significantly safer for a while, provided that you don't accidentally run into enemies or just end up running into a tier or something like that. That's probably going to be the biggest danger, that I have to stand a little bit closer than I ordinarily would. But it's a manageable thing for sure. I will... Does this recharge my item? I actually don't know. I'm just gonna do the remaining waves first. Perhaps Sulfur is waiting for us in our Devil Deal once again. And while Brimstone Knife isn't quite as good as just regular Brimstone, I would argue, it's still pretty fun, isn't it? It's something that we don't often get. Don't really have the health for it right now, though. So there's one It is like 1 red heart to get sulfur as well, so more health would be good. But I don't have a way to get more health right now, which is not ideal. Tempted to buy the potato peeler just to see what the next item is. It is the booster pack, which is the 2 of clubs and the 2 of clubs. Am I seeing that correctly? I think I am. So we'll actually use both of these: Wheel of Fortune, Strength, and Magician. So Strength is pretty good. Wheel of Fortune I could use next to the secret room to just blow those up. Mostly just moving this thing over here. I don't really want to reroll my build, so that's not ideal. I guess I'm just going to buy the car battery in the hopes that we're going to get something good to use with it. Which is not ideal for sure, but I mean, we'll just have to make do. At least the button isn't going to accidentally be pressed during this wave, so I can just stand over here. That went pretty quickly. There is 2 babies there, one of which is good, and the other one is also there. This will give me conjoined if I take both. I do like the fly. I don't really care about Demon Baby that much. This is a poor choice. And I probably should have visited my curse room first, but there you go. I did end up getting 2 more coins and yet another thing to use a bomb on. It is a death card, which I don't care too much about. I think there's still 2 shopkeepers here as well, with coins in their eyes. Only one of them gave something, but that's fine. That would have been a really good thing to have, but I'm gonna actually take both of these, put them both in there. And that is going to create some sprinklers that do that, and also use the straw every time I use it. And that might be good. Hopefully that's gonna end up working out. Only one way to find out, I suppose. For now, let's get this. I actually don't know what that's gonna give. It's gonna give speed, which is not bad actually, because default speed as his character isn't great. This is gonna be something that's going to be put into the void for a stat up. And safety scissors isn't actually, that's infinite bombs right there if I'm looking at this correctly. Yeah, all right. Let's go into the secret room real quick. No, let's not. Let's first do this, and then buy the safety scissors for the infinite bomb shenaniganry. And then see what we can do afterwards. I don't know if there's a reroll machine in that shop, but if there is, doesn't matter because the troll bombs will simply turn into good stuff. So that's fine. Where pins? Okay. Did I miss one? Yeah. I was getting a little worried there was maybe like a skull or something still alive, but there wasn't. Alright, so if I buy this and then bomb you, and you're gonna be very pleased with me and give me large quantities of bombs. It's kind of unfortunate for this to happen in this mode, but I mean, ultimately I can appreciate a bunch of free bombs in whatever mode it may be. If I had a D20, that would be amazing right now. Also going to move the booger a little bit away. But this is a pretty great trinket to combine with that right there. So pretty happy about that. We'll just take these. There is a trap door as well, which is genuinely the reason why I even bothered to blow those things up, because that's actually pretty tempting. It is a fun item for sure, but I'm not sure if it's just gonna do nothing or if it's going to override. I'm not sure how that's gonna work. That's really the main thing. Is it going to override my knife, or is the knife going to override Dr. Fetus? I genuinely don't know. Either way, I'm not sure how many bombs I want. Obviously, many is good. If I have Dr. Fetus and it ends up shooting bombs, then I'm also done with my bomb-related problems, so that's pretty good as well. Might as well blow up all these skulls while I'm at it. That one had a black heart inside it, so that's good. And that is a Hierophant card, which I do not mind. Luck Up is a pretty good trinket, and Pulse Worm doesn't really affect my current weapon. Not sure if I should have used that card immediately, but I did, so it's too late to worry about it. And forgot to use the Void on the punching bag, so very good. I will remember that in a second though, hopefully. I did also manage to kill 2 enemies there, and I'm not really sure what they were, but they ended up exploding. Also, this boss will basically give us infinite troll bombs as well if we decide to prolong the fight long enough. So really we have a lot of ways to get free bombs during this floor, which is pretty good. Might as well wait until I've done the Devil Deal now with the amount of charges I've already effectively wasted. That's not nice. Don't care for that, but we did manage to get through relatively unscathed. There is Brimstone right there, but I don't care that much. It's tempting to put this in. I will actually eat that. And then, let's see, Verp. That's not terrible. Hematemesis. I don't really care about my death card, if I'm honest, at this point. Would have been nice in the previous run game, but it is what it is. I'm just gonna try this, because I'm genuinely just quite curious how this is gonna work. Is this going to give me Dr. Fetus, or is this going to do nothing? It just gave me a hat. Alright, very good. Well, it's something. It's at least a hat, so it could have been ultimately worse, but it is a little disappointing, isn't it? I wouldn't have minded Dr. Fetus, because I think Dr. Fetus is probably pretty good for this mode as well. It's a little dangerous and a little sketch during the Ultra Greed fight, perhaps, but it's probably not too terrible, isn't it? I think I don't really need to get more bombs from this point, but I could just give the Bomb Beggar some bombs back as well. That'll probably give me some coins in the end, which wouldn't be too bad. So I'm just gonna blow this up a couple more times. But yeah, for sure, if I had a D20 right now, then we would just be going wild. And that would have been a lot of fun, but unfortunately, the run is what it is. As it stands, we can at least get a decent amount of coins from this beggar right here. And red hearts apparently, so that's kind of fun. Might as well blow him up while we wait to pick things up. And eventually he'll probably give us a bomb item as well, which might end up being useful. Just gonna blow him up a couple more times just in case. Just in case, you never know. I think after this, yeah, okay, homing bombs, yeah, sure. After this, I'll just go back to this trinket again, because I do like this trinket. I'm not really sure if it works with the knife at all, but we are possibly going to find out if I pay close enough attention. And that is so many bombs. 36 coins is not too bad. That is the magic mushroom, that is chaos. Both very good. That is conjoined. This is a bad day for chaos fans everywhere, I have to say. Because I do like having 3 knives, unfortunately. I'm just gonna blow this up. Which is a terrible idea thinking about it, but hopefully that didn't end up showing up good items that would be worth keeping. And the door is no longer open, so we're not gonna be able to use that paw. I will be able, now that I remember, to go here and do this and give us extra speed and shot speed up. So yeah, fair enough. Acceptable overall results. Let us keep moving on like this. Is there any tinted rocks here? I don't see any. So hopefully the answer to that was indeed no. Alright, Utero. I think it is about time to stop. I should get tears up, actually. My tears are pretty bad. It's about time to stop buying things, I would say. It's time to start collecting some coins here. But I will get some more keys, actually. That is Spider Baby transformation, and I don't really care too much about that, so I'm probably just going to turn that into a stat up later, and let's just blow up these shopkeepers because surprisingly we have a large quantity of bombs to do that now. Having 99 bombs is very capable of doing that. We can also start shooting diagonally now because of the conjoined transformation, and the magic mushroom is going to help us deal a bunch more damage as well. So all in all, not too bothered. Gotta watch out for the exploding enemies still. The fly should also deal more damage now because of that magic mushroom giving us a damage up, so that is good. And slowly but surely make our way through the waves. Again, the 4.5 volt battery would be a nice thing to have right now because we could spawn a lot of sprinklers during the fight against Super Greed, Ultra Greed, whichever greed is available. But if we can't get that, then we'll just have to make do with what we have. Would have been nice to find something like Book of Revelations as well, because having that healing available is just very useful in a mode like this. This hopefully won't take too long. We do deal decent amounts of damage, so if we can just at least destroy one of the two, that would be good, but preferably both. Somehow we managed to hit that one right there, which I'm genuinely not sure how, but I guess I'll just try and destroy the second one as well. And I think we're just about in time before the next wave starts, so very good. Carrion Queen is not a problem at all with knives, so no worries there. And finally, another Carrion Queen and another Carrion Queen, which, as I said previously, not at all a problem with knives, so very good. Let's go in here. 25 cents for a heart is not a bad deal, I will have to say, especially when there's 2 soul hearts in there, so we'll take that. And not sure if there was anything here that I particularly wanted. I don't think so. Oh yeah, that's a tears up and a shot speed up. There is, I think, technically 2 sprinklers here, but they're inside each other maybe, is my assumption. I assume that's how it works with the car battery. Hard to say. I would have expected them to be next to each other at least, but I guess not. But fair enough. With that, I will move on to the next floor. 96 bombs. I could look for trapdoors as well, but I don't really want to. I could also look for my secret room because it's next to the curse room right there, but I'd rather have the health at this point. So I'm probably not going to bother too much with that. That is part of the spun transformation and a speed up as well, so that's not bad either. I don't understand how this keeps happening. I genuinely don't understand how this happens every time I play greed mode. This doesn't make any sense how this keeps happening every time I play greed mode. There is... I mean, I'll take it once... do I take it? I kind of wouldn't mind not to take it, but... it's just more coins to put in the machine, hopefully. I don't know. I don't know how it exactly works with the void either. That's a little bit worrying, because I kind of wouldn't mind putting it in the void, but I think it just uses it automatically in the room I voided in, I think. At least the sprinkler got used instantly the moment I put it in the void. That's really my main concern. Simultaneously, it wouldn't take too long to redo everything from this point. It's just a bit of a waste. It's really more the thing. But I could just experiment, actually. I'm a little curious about it for sure. And with that curiosity comes experimentation. Because I gots to know. If it doesn't use it automatically, it just means I have to not use the void for the rest of the run. And then use it when I have beaten Ultra Greed, I suppose. If we could destroy these blue flames in the room, then I wouldn't have to spend one of my many bombs, and that would be ideal. But I guess ultimately, I could just do it myself, if needed. There we go. Another devil deal. That's the one it is. It is an AWAS, which I might as well use in case there is a one of those. Yeah, in case there is a one of those. That's an item which I definitely need. It's going to give us more bombs, so very good. And with give us more bombs, I mean drop more bombs without really being in control of it. I guess I'd be a little bit in control, but not like a lot, you know? Yep, that's my concern. Well, there you go. I assume, having said that, that is only going to happen once as well, and not going to be repeated every time that I use the void now. I will verify that at the end of the run and not at the start of it to make life a little bit more exciting as well. But I have to imagine I have to imagine that there's no way that I can now use the R key every single time. Usually these things are one-use items in instances like this, so I wouldn't be too surprised. I will just rush through everything a little bit quicker now because, quite frankly, we have the option at least. And it is a bit more likely that we're going to get 99 coins, so that is pretty good as well. And yeah, just gonna rush through the basement and all the subsequent floors. Maybe buy a couple more things here and there if there is particularly good items to get. Not really sure what I'd be looking for at this point, but there probably are at least some good things. But we shall see. At least now I know that putting the R key in the void also immediately uses it, but that might also be because of the car battery, I suppose. Because the car battery might be causing that the first use puts it into the void and then immediately it triggers the second use, which activates it. Which wouldn't be too strange, for sure. That wouldn't be like a big stretch of the imagination, so I can kind of see that, well, A, that's how it works, and B, we're definitely not going to get, we're definitely not going to see that R key again in action, so a little unfortunate in one way, but on the other side, it's like, what are you gonna do about it? I have learned to accept the choices that I've made during this run. And I will simply do my best to finish this run as quickly as I can now, knowing that that is probably the reason why things are the way they are. Curse of Darkness kinda sucks. There is telekinesis. And that spun, I think. Yeah, there you go. It was a stat up all the way. We did get a red heart container, which is kind of fiddly, I suppose, but it's still fairly acceptable. And unfortunately, the caves are just not that exciting when you have this many knives at your disposal. Even the champions are dying instantly, which again makes sense because we're playing with a build that's effectively at the end game, so it is what it is, but still, I didn't expect the knives to be quite this effective during this point of the game. I suppose our hat probably is helping. Larry Jr. with the hat also stands no chance against Isaac with hat, so that is good. And probably could have avoided some damage there if I really wanted to, but I really didn't try that hard that time. And I'll just take Gimpy for the sake of it, because it makes the build a little bit better. Lump of Coal doesn't really work super great with what we have, and I'll take that. It's not really worthwhile. The Infinity is pretty fun. Because now you can indeed like use the drop button to switch between every different type of die. Except for one of them, I believe. And it ends up being just really, really strong. But I think I'll save that for a later run. But ordinarily, that would be the item that you would take for reasons. Because it is pretty good. I'm not really sure why I'm hanging on to the Sun card. Because I have 0 red heart containers, but I mean, it might be good. You never know. At least now we don't need keys anymore, so that's kind of nice. Infamy is pretty good. Juice is pretty good. So fair enough. A little bit of a damage up. That is pretty much all I care about at this point as well. I could take a little bit more damage, I suppose. We aren't that far into the run yet. We're only at the depth, so we will definitely still get 99 coins anyway. So probably not a terrible idea to just do that. But I'm not sure what else I would like. That's really the main thing. The thing about knife is that more or less every run of it, if you know how to use the knife, is very, very similar. I think I pressed a button by accident because the wave ended. I'm not really sure how. I didn't feel like I was that close to the button. At least Infamy helped me out there because I seem to have stopped dodging. There you go. Dark Matter and Spirit of the Night, two very good items. Don't really care about either of them right now. Both of them very good on their own right, but not really feeling it right now. Let's just keep going. We have the power to finish this run under an hour. Maybe. That is the dream. There is the Scooper. Definitely a lot of fun, especially with the auto battery, but the car battery even. But, you know, we have still the potential of an R key in there, and I have to know at the end of this, but quite frankly, I'd be very, very surprised if it would be a reusable R key. I do know that if it is a reusable R key, that this one's going to take a minute, because I'm probably just going to try to fill up the donation machine until I'm bored, which is probably only like 1 or 2 more runs at most, but still, it would be an attempt for sure. And we get some soul hearts from Gimpy there, so that's nice. There's some red hearts here as well if we ever get a red heart container again, which is fairly unlikely, I suppose. And we are already at the boss wave right there. 2 Gurdy Juniors, not a problem when you are very strong. And just a little bit of Loki action going on as well. Loki with 2 eyes, of course. Followed by Mom's heart, which made me teleport a little bit, which was a little bit jarring, but fair enough. Still ended up getting the lump of coal, even though I said I didn't really care for it. Because, see, I'd need to throw my knives like this for it to deal as much damage as possible, and that's just a little fiddly. Suppose I should probably visit my secret room if I have 92 bombs available, but... Oh, trapdoor. Awaz, Yera is better than what I had. Getting a lot of trapdoors today, though. An actual coin beggar. There you go. I need neither of those things. Maybe I could buy something in the shop, I suppose, if there is something particularly useful. Don't really care about Halo that much. Don't really care about these things either. No. The thing that would drop items would actually be pretty good, but... Oh, well, there it goes. Lusty Blood's there. Yeah, I'll take Lusty Blood. We only just unlocked it, so I might as well take it for once. We still have 2 more floors to go anyway. Could have taken 3 more coins from that trapdoor, but I didn't. I simply didn't. But Lusty Blood is going to give us a damage up for that room for every single enemy that we kill, for up to 10 enemies or so. So that item is incredible in greed mode, because we are continuously in the same room. It's also going to make us very red. And our damage is now 16 with a knife, which deals a lot of damage because of that. Even though we were already dealing a pretty significant amount of damage, it has just become even more significant. So all in all, not too shabby. Not bothered by that at all. A soul heart from a random blue flame, which I'm never too bothered about. And Daddy Longlegs is working pretty hard as well. This is unfortunately not the run where we had that Nod Leaf, otherwise I could just let Daddy Longlegs do the entire Ultra Greed fight and have a wonderful time with it as well. Because I could just stand still and let Daddy Longlegs step on the enemy repeatedly until the end of the fight. But while a very valid strategy, one that does take a minute, and I guess the knife would probably ultimately be faster. Plus, it's not even the same run. I don't even have that item anymore. So let's just do it like this instead. Bunch of nothing. 2 spooky, still pretty good. Still not spending this amount of soul hearts on it though. Even if there is a soul heart in the devil deal. Just not really feeling it. Don't think I went into my secret room either. For 1 more bombable chest. Containing a little bit of money. Maybe I should just buy 1 more thing while I'm still here anyway and there's a bunch of money on the floor. Let's just try to reroll that a little bit. Try to reroll that a little bit. Don't really. Truth be told, I'm just a little bit done with this run already. I just kind of want to make it to the end because the instant use of the R key has made me a little bit disheartened. Plus, I have to admit that the death is still a little bit on my mind, of course, but what are you gonna do? It's the first one in the series, and it did have to come eventually. But I would love to have it happen 1,000 videos from now with some character that was definitely guaranteed to die anyway. But it is what it is. I don't know how much damage we took from those enemies there, though. It was a champion, I think, so it would have been pretty decent damage there from the enemies there, but it didn't seem like it, unless my health was actually that high. Genuinely not sure now, but not too worried about it either. The dead bird will at least destroy all the enemies that are in our way. The ghosts are a little annoying, and somehow that fire was still there. And I did notice the fire the entire time, but it was just like I just didn't do anything with the information. Gotta watch out for 2 conquests, both shooting beams. What fun. At least they die fairly quickly with the knife, but that is rough. And that one just dies instantly to it, so again, not too bad. And our last devil deal is guarded by a large quantity of greeds that even Infamy is like, no. You will not damage little Isaac today. We could take Sulfur just for the fun, but no. Because I don't feel like it. Let's check one more greed mode secret room before moving onwards to the Ultra Greed fight. A gray chest with 2 half a red hearts. Very good. We still have a Yera card as well, so if we can get a lot of coins in the Ultra Greed fight, we might end up being able to put a lot of coins into our donation machine as well. As we shall see today. That was unfortunate damage, but he exploded into coins, so it doesn't matter too much. And let's go. Don't love the knife against Ultra Greed, simply because it's just a little bit fiddly to use, but simultaneously it is a diagonal knife as well, so that does make it a little bit more bearable. Plus I have 3 knives, so I can do something like that. But mostly it's his coin attacks that are a little bit fiddly to dodge, I'd say, when you are directly next to him. But with this, we can just do this instead, and we are pretty far away still. And dealing decent amounts of damage to him as well, so I'm not too concerned, but that can still happen. We do need to find a new coin now. Actually, I managed to destroy all the shopkeepers pretty much, which is a little unfortunate because they had some coins, but I think he picked all of them up, unfortunately. Just a lot of unfortunate going on during this run. But that is the way it is. Just a bunch more of these enemies, which are more or less dying instantly. Pretty much everything except for Ultra Greed is dying instantly here, so overall I'm not exactly too concerned about actually winning this fight. I will just deal with these key coins though, because it was a little bit tedious to try and take care of those enemies. And let's just do that. That actually did a lot of damage, just having 3 knives just bounce into him the entire time there. So maybe I should have just been doing that instead. Brown nugget, it is certainly an item, and let's just try and see how many more coins we can put in here. 879 is what I said, which is not going to be reached today, but it is theoretically 1 more greed mode away. So that's pretty good. We were at 600 something at the start of this session, so if I just do greed mode 1 more time with 2 different characters, then I think we can actually just complete it if we're lucky. We unfortunately, I think my theory about how the R key got used there is correct. So probably should have just bought the R key and then continued with the run without the void, but it is what it is. It ultimately only would have given us so many extra coins, I would argue, so I'm not really too bothered about that. But the one thing that I am, of course, a little bit bothered by is that our win streak is back at 1. But I will learn to live with that as time goes on. But I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Next time we play, Don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I hope to see you all there. Bye-bye.